Ireland is rich in music. There's so much variety, from traditional music to some of the big bands you hear today. There is something for everybody. Over the last week or so, I was working on a wee project on YouTube, just releasing a short video every day, showcasing the popular Irish rebel songs. In those videos, it had bits and pieces of information like who wrote them, why were they sung, the popularity in society back then and today, and even how much they rattled the governments of the time. So this video is a compilation of those 10, but I've ranked them from 1 to 10, or 10 to 1. It's based off of my own opinion, which had the biggest impact on the Ireland that you see and hear today. And a full disclaimer, this was my first project working on YouTube, so even right now, watching them back, even makes me feel a little bit awkward. But I'm having great fun doing it, and I'm learning an awful lot by researching and uploading and editing these videos. So I hope you enjoy watching this video just as much as I do making them. So without further ado, let's have a look at the video. The Minstrel Boy is a poetic Irish ballad written by Thomas Moore in the early 1800s as part of his Irish melodies. It tells the story of a young warrior bard who goes to war with his father's sword and his harp, both symbols of Ireland's soul and struggle. Rather than let his music be used by the enemy, he destroys his harp and dies free, his spirit unbroken. The song mourns not only personal loss but national oppression, and though less direct than later rebel songs, its message of sacrifice and resistance is clear. Over the years, it's been embraced as a quiet anthem of Irish defiance. The tune the song was set to, the Maureen, has a striking resemblance to themes in Mozart's Flute Quartet K298 and has been echoed by composers like Bizet in Britain. From 19th century drawing rooms to modern memorials and even Star Trek, the Minstrel Boy endures haunting, noble and timeless. Boolavogue is an Irish ballad written by P.J. McCall in 1898 to mark the centenary of the 1798 rebellion. It tells the story of Father John Murphy, a parish priest from County Wexford, who initially tried to keep his parishioners out of the fight until British forces burned their homes. He then became a reluctant but fierce leader, guiding local rebels to early victories at Owlert Hill and Enniscorthy before facing defeat at Vinegar Hill. Father Murphy was later captured and executed, becoming a symbol of sacrifice and resistance. Set to the traditional air Youghal Harbour, the song became an anthem for Wexford and one of McCall's most enduring works. With vivid place names and real historical figures, Boolavogue connects local memory to national struggle and keeps the spirit of 1798 alive. Galtee Mountain Boy is an Irish rebel ballad written by Patsy O'Halloran, later popularised in a version featuring an added verse by Christy Moore. Told as a first-person monologue, the song follows a young man who joins a Tipperary flying column during the War of Independence and later fights on the anti-treaty side in the Civil War. The lyrics mention real-life figures like Sean Hogan, Dinny Lacey, Dan Breen and Sean Moylan, legends of the fight for Irish freedom. Though the narrator isn't based on one specific person, he represents the many young men who took up arms and marched through Cork, Tipperary, Wicklow and Dublin. With references to Clonmel and the Galtee Mountains, the song stays rooted in place and memory. It's both a tribute to the fighters and reflection on loyalty, loss and defiance during a divided time in Irish history. God Save Ireland is a defiant Irish ballad written by Timothy Daniel Sullivan in 1867. Following the execution of the Manchester martyrs, 3 Fenians hanged after a controversial trial over a failed prison rescue. Though none had fired the fatal shot that killed the police guard, they were convicted under the doctrine of common purpose. One of the accused, Edward O'Meara Condon, famously ended his courtroom speech with "God Save Ireland," a phrase that quickly became a rallying cry. Sullivan's lyrics were set to the tune of the American Civil War song Tramp, Tramp, Tramp to help it catch on quickly, and it did, becoming the unofficial anthem of Irish nationalism and the Home Rule movement for decades. It was sung at the Easter Rising, at nationalist rallies, and by figures like Cathal Brugha as he lay wounded with pistol in hand. Though it was later eclipsed by the soldier song, God Save Ireland still holds a place in history and memory. Its chorus melody even made its way onto the terraces, sung by Celtic FC supporters and Ireland fans at football matches, echoing a century-old spirit of pride and resistance. O Roche de Bahawalia is a traditional Irish song with roots that stretch back centuries, though its origin is still unclear. The melody shares traits with older tunes, like the English sea shanty, Drunken Sailor, but Irish versions of the chorus have been recorded as early as the 19th century.
O Roche de Bahawalia, O Roche de Bahawalia, O Roche de Bahawalia.
It was once used in hauling home ceremonies. These are celebrations that were held once a month after a wedding when a bride moved into her husband's home. The song has also been linked to the Jacobite cause, with early versions mentioning Bonnie Prince Charlie. In the early 1900s, Patrick Pearse gave it new life by writing Republican verses that swapped the foreign prince for the Irish pirate Queen Grace O'Malley. This version, sung by the Irish volunteers during the 1916 Easter Rising, reframed the fight for freedom with a distinctly Irish voice. Today it remains a proud anthem of Irish resistance, known also as Dord na Fiann, or the Call of the Fighters. The Boys of the Old Brigade is a rebel ballad song written by Paddy McGuigan, reflecting on the sacrifices of Irish Republican Army volunteers during the War of Independence and commemorating the Easter Rising. Told through the voice of an ageing veteran speaking to a younger man, the song is a nostalgic tribute to fallen comrades who fought in Glen with rifle and grenade so that Ireland might be free. Its refrain, Agra Macree, I long to see the boys of the Old Brigade, speaks to loyalty, memory, and the deep emotional connection to those who gave their life for the Republic. While written decades after the events it recalls, the song became widely popular, especially among Irish communities in Britain and supporters of Irish unity. It has also become part of football fan culture, most notably among Celtic supporters, where it's sung as a show of Irish identity and heritage. However, this has drawn criticism and controversy, with debates over whether political songs belong in modern stadiums. Still, for many, the Boys of the Old Brigade remains a deeply felt tribute to history, sacrifice, and national pride. Back Home in Derry is an Irish rebel song written by Bobby Sands while imprisoned in HM Prison Maze during the Troubles. Set to a haunting melody popularised by Christy Moore, adapted from Gordon Lightfoot's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the song tells the story of Irish rebels exiled to Australia after the failed 1803 uprising. Though the rebellion itself is centred on Dublin, Derry is used symbolically in the chorus as a stand-in for home, loss and longing. The lyrics capture the cruelty of British punishment, the brutal voyage to Van Diemen's Land, and the inhumane life of forced labour that followed. Even after 20 years of suffering, the narrator holds firm to his Republican beliefs. A rebel I came, and sure I'll die the same. Today, the song stands as a raw, emotional reflection on exile, resistance, and unbroken spirit, made all the more powerful by life and death of the man who wrote it. The Rising of the Moon is an Irish ballad that tells the story of the 1798 rebellion when the United Irishmen, led by figures like Wolfe Tone, rose against British rule. The song follows the calls to arms as pikemen gather at the rising of the moon, only to be met with defeat. Still, the lyrics carry a message of resilience, urging future generations to follow in their footsteps. Written by John Keegan Casey, also known as the Fenian poet, and first published in 1866, the ballad was meant to inspire support for the later Fenian Rising of 1867. Set to the familiar tune of The Wearing of the Green, it became a staple of Irish folk tradition. Today, The Rising of the Moon remains widely recognised across Ireland, taught in schools, played at events, and sung by countless artists as a reminder of resistance and the hope that refuses to die. Here's one of my favourite Irish rebel songs, Come Out Ye Black and Tans, written by Dominic Behan, likely in the 1960s. It draws on the events of the Irish War of Independence from 1919 to 1921. It takes aim at British imperialism and the brutal actions of the Black and Tans, a force sent to suppress Irish resistance. The lyrics challenge those who fought for and supported Britain while turning a blind eye to the violence at home. The song also serves as an informal tribute to Dominic's father, Stephen Behan, a veteran of the Irish War of Independence and a committed Republican. Today it remains a powerful anthem of Irish defiance and pride, resonating with many as a necessary reminder of history and resistance. The Foggy Dew is a political Irish ballad most commonly credited to Canon Charles O'Neill, a parish priest from County Down. O'Neill is believed to have written it in 1919 in response to the 1916 Easter Rising. The lyrics are set to a traditional Irish melody, and the song contrasts the bloodshed of those Irish men fighting for Britain in World War I with the bravery of those who rose against British rule in Dublin. It mourns the former and honours the latter, casting the Rising as the more noble and necessary cause. Though the tune itself predates O'Neill's lyrics and has roots in older folk songs, his version endures as a solemn political tribute. Today, the Foggy Dew is one of the most iconic ballads of Irish resistance, remembered for its emotional weight and patriotism. So that's it. That's my ranking of the top 10 best Irish rebel songs. Foggy Dew is a good one. It's very popular throughout the country. I first heard of it when I was really young, probably 6-7 years old, in a hall with 10 other kids playing tin whistle for the first time. Probably even today, kids still learn that as one of their first songs, at least, on the tin whistle. So I had great fun making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. It'd mean a lot to me if you hit that like button and subscribe, because I want to keep releasing these videos. Shout out down in the comments if you have any ideas you want me to work on. I'll definitely prioritise them for you. So that's it. Look, thanks again. Hope you have a great day. Take care. Cheers.